welcome. You are listening to another episode of the Business of Aesthetics podcast series, brought to you by our gold sponsors, MRP, Laser Up Tech, and Equa Marketing. We also want to thank our silver sponsors, Lendiala, Eilis Works, and Pronox. If you would like to network and share your experience with our podcast guests and other aesthetic industry professionals, join our Facebook or LinkedIn communities by searching for Business of Aesthetics. Today we're going to be speaking with one of the finest experts in aesthetics.
Get ready for an extraordinary opportunity. You're invited to join our exclusive monthly webinar, brought to you by the Aesthetic Institute and the Business of Aesthetics community. Don't let this chance slip through your fingers. Secure your spot now for a game-changing experience. Explore the details on our homepage at www.businessaesthetics.org and get set to transform your strategies.
We're going to be talking about Google Ads, Google SEO, organic social media ads, and traditional media. We're going to compare all these different options, show you the pros and cons, show you what to use when. So hopefully you have a good idea when you walk into 2023 as to where to put your money, what to do with your marketing. If you're not a member of the Business of Aesthetics community, of course, join the Facebook group. We are live streaming it right now. And also, subscribe to our podcast. We have 50,000 plus downloads a month. We are the number one podcast in aesthetics anywhere in the US and, of course, the world. So, it's free. We'll put a link on chat. Please go to that link and subscribe to the podcast. A little bit about me. I'm a Cialdini certified professional, so I'm able to teach Dr. Robert Cialdini's influence principles. I have been using Dr. Cialdini's principles for quite a few years now, more than a decade. So everything we do at Equa Marketing is centered around his ideas. So we look at, helping practice owners dominate Google. And then, of course, we look at how do we influence people once people find you through Google, so that those people who are finding you through Google are picking up the phone and calling your office. I have 17 plus years of experience in aesthetics marketing. I started this in 2007, and I've been doing this 2006, 2007, and I've been doing this since. We have quite a number of clients who are med spa owners, plastic surgeons, dermatologists, OBGYNs, pretty much ophthalmologists, different types of business owners in aesthetics. I'm also the founder of Equa Marketing. We have 200 plus team members. We take care of 450 plus clients. We are considered to be the leader, if not one of the leaders in aesthetics marketing. I also started the Business of Aesthetics community. We have around 5,000 members, 50,000 people listen to our podcast, like we mentioned. The website for that is businessafaesthetics.org. It's free. And I co-host the Business of Aesthetics podcast along with Ryan Davis and a few others. So that's kind of a little bit about me. Let me have Ryan introduce himself. Ryan is a friend, and of course, he's a digital marketing advisor. He specializes in helping practice owners discover how they're doing with marketing. Ryan, why don't you say a few words?
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Narain. I'm working as a digital marketing advisor with Equa. I've worked in the past with companies on political campaigns. I'm really highly interested in sales and especially marketing psychology. So understanding how to influence buying behaviors, how to how to be in the right places to be found, and then once you're found, how to get people to choose you and build value in your messaging, right? So beyond just building a brand or stating what you do, but really building out value. So I'm a Sandler sales expert and a certified, I've done a few levels there, as well as a challenger sales expert, being able to push people to make that decision and understand how to have those conversations. And even in the digital marketing world, where you're not having a face-to-face conversation, how can you prove that you're the right person for the job that people are looking for? I've been all across North America as a speaker and in presenter, doing a number of trade shows and events, and I absolutely love this space. And I think digital marketing is incredibly fascinating. I actually just recorded a podcast on it today on the ever-changing landscape of digital marketing and how important it is, and how to help people succeed in this very complex space where, as Narain says, sometimes it feels like magic, right? So making sure that we can create that magic. So we're going to give you some of those magic secrets here today.
Thank you, Ryan. Ryan is an awesome presenter, so I'm really excited to co-present this awesome topic today with him. By the way, this is brought to you by the Aesthetics Institute and the Business of Aesthetics community. So currently the Aesthetics Institute has more than 1,000 members. We are waiving your membership fee. So if you are interested, please follow the link and sign up. We bring events like this. So every month we do 1 or 2 events, and looking forward to seeing you. Of course, thank you for being here. And if you have others who couldn't watch this, you can request a replay and leverage this video, or you could log into the member area and watch the video. So what are the things we're going to cover today? We're going to talk about Google Ads. I'll talk about that. Social media ads, I'll let Ryan expand on that. Google SEO, Ryan will talk about that. Then organic social media, I'll come back to that. And finally, I'll finish with traditional ads. Of course, Ryan, feel free to jump in as we go through this. You have lots of knowledge, so let's have some fun today.
Absolutely.
Let's do a poll real quick and just see what people think about marketing. So the question is, does your current marketing bring you enough new patients? Really 3 simple answers. Yes, I'm getting more than enough new patients. No, I'm not. I'm getting some patients, but not enough. And last answer is, my marketing is weak. I'm not anywhere close to my desired new patient count. Perfect. I'll end the poll. I'll read the results. 57% said I'm getting some patients, but not enough. 43% said my marketing is very weak. I'm not anywhere close to my desired number of new patients. So all of you said you're not getting enough new patients. So nobody gave the answer, I'm getting more than enough new patients. So all of you want new patients, you're at the right place. This is a very foundational presentation, so you understand how to think about marketing as a whole when it comes to growing your aesthetics practice. Google Ads. So let me talk about Google Ads. Why is Google Ads 5 to 10 times more expensive versus Google SEO? The reason I'm starting with this question is people have asked me this question. Probably this is one of the most popular questions I get. So I just wanted to kind of get it out of the way. Why is it more expensive? And really, there's 2 reasons for it. One is psychology and the other one is economics. So let me start with the economics. Google made $224 billion from Google Ads last year. So, and when Google started in 1998, if I'm not mistaken, Google made $70 million with an M, $70 million from Google Ads. So how does Google make $224 billion last year when they only made $70 million their first year? They get people to pay more money. Simple as that. So of course, the way Google makes people pay more money is the bid price of every ad keeps going up over time. Therefore, you end up spending more and money over time. So that's really why Google Ads is 5 to 10 times more expensive. The other reason it's expensive is a lot of times marketing companies would not tell you how much money goes to Google and how much they keep. So let's say you give them $10,000 a month, they might keep $5,000 and only give Google $5,000. So you're only getting half of the dollars going to Google and the other half going to the marketing company. So those are the 2 reasons why it's more expensive. There's a psychological reason as well, and I'll get into that in a bit. The average person who comes from Google Ads will spend 15 seconds versus the average person who comes from SEO will spend 90 seconds. Why is that? The reason the average person who comes from Google SEO spends 15 seconds and the average person who comes from Google SEO will spend 90 seconds and the average person from ads will spend 15 seconds is because there's something called intention and then trust. Both people who come to you through Google SEO and Google Ads have intention. They typed in Botox, they typed in skin tightening. So they are interested in that particular service. Therefore, both of them have intention working for 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 them. But what the difference is Google ads are ads. We don't trust ads. SEO is organic. We trust organic. Everyone who goes to Google is looking for the organic answer, not for the ads answer. Because we don't trust the ads, we are clicking with doubt. We are looking for a reason to leave the site. So you need like 6 people to equal 1 person who comes from SEO, because these people are like not going to give you enough time, not going to pay attention, not going to be interested. So you need a lot more people to make up a one good Google SEO person. That's the other reason why Google ads are 5 to 10 times more expensive than Google SEO. The second reason I mentioned is the economics. Google makes so much money from ads, so they keep raising the bid price. And the third reason I mentioned is the marketing company keeps sometimes half of the money you pay them, because they don't tell you how much goes to Google. So if Google ads is 5 to 10 times more expensive, should we use Google ads? That's another question I get a lot. Absolutely, you should, but only in the following situations. Number one, you have amazing landing pages, meaning when I go to that page, even in 15 seconds, you blow me away. Like I see the before and afters, I see the videos. I'm like, you are amazing. I need to go see this particular doctor. So that's number one. If you don't have amazing landing pages that is like, wow, this person is one of a kind, then don't spend money on Google ads. And then the math still has to work, right? So for example, there are some procedures where spending 5 to 10 times more money doesn't make sense. But there are other situations where it does make sense. So perhaps you're making $1,000, so spending $300 to get that patient, you might say, you know what, the math still works. So if the math, so first have amazing landing pages. If you don't have amazing landing pages, you are like wasting good money after bad, meaning, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads, but none of these people convert because they go to the landing page, they're not impressed, they leave, and then you have nothing to show for. So should I use paid ads? And if so, when? Use paid ads if you're a startup. So there are special circumstances where, in my 17 years of experience, where paid ads make sense. If you're a startup needing additional patients, and still it's cheaper than acquiring a practice. So let's say you could buy a practice for $1 million, or you could acquire the same number of patients even using paid ads for $500,000. You might say, you know what, $500,000 is cheaper than $1 million. So even though it's very, 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 very expensive, it's still cheaper than the alternative of buying the practice. So you might say, okay, in that case, using paid ad makes sense. But you have to be a math wizard. If you're not paying attention to your cost per new patient, and you could easily blow tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars and not have enough results to justify the expense. Second, you're getting free ad dollars. Some manufacturers will say, you know what, for a limited time, I'll give you $5,000 a month. But if you don't use it, you lose it. So you could call your marketing company and say, you know what, run these ads. I have some ad money. Can you please run these ads for me so I don't lose it? So that's the second situation where I would use Google ads. And finally, if something is very, very, very profitable and SEO still hasn't picked up in that particular city, so let's say you're targeting a new city that's 30 miles from your main city, and SEO is still not ranking for that city, you might say for a limited time, because it's very, very profitable, I'm going to run some ads. So those are the 3 situations in my 17 years of experience where ads make the most sense. So I'm not saying no to ads, especially Google ads, but use it in these 3 situations. At any given time, my experience, 7% of our doctors or practice owners are using Google ads, and 3% are using social media ads. Why? Because it's so much more expensive. So unless they are in these 3 situations, they don't want to spend 5 to 10 times more money. So which is why only 7% of our clients are using Google ads. In short, when to use Google ads: start a practice, grow profitable service for a limited time, when you get free ad dollars. When not to use Google ads: if you're not able to convince the potential patients in 15 seconds or less to trust you, like you, and see you as an expert. If they don't see you as an expert for that particular thing they're Googling in 15 seconds or less by going to your landing page, then don't use Google ads. Finally, lack of clear marketing goals. Without clear marketing goals and a well-defined strategy, using Google ads can lead to wasted ad spend and poor results. So a lot of people don't know their metrics, don't know how much they're spending per new patient. So you could easily waste a lot of money. In other words, you will end up losing money in that activity because the money you make from those patients is less than the money you spend on ads. So if you really haven't figured out your metrics, if you really haven't gotten your math right, then don't do it either. So those are the two situations where I wouldn't, do Google Ads. Anything you want to add, Ryan?
No, I think that sums it up perfectly. I mean, we hear it all the time, right? Is when should I use it, or it's why would I use it? It's very expensive when you're paying for a cost per click engagement, right? So you got to make sure also that you've got the content to back up, as you mentioned, that you've got that 15 seconds or less. You can convert them and answer what they're looking for. Do I trust you? Do I like you? Are you an expert? All in that 15 seconds. So Google Ads can be something that's great, again, for a startup in the right situation, for that, hey, I've got a downtime, or I've got some new technology that's not ranking yet, as you mentioned. But overall, it just makes a lot of sense to, unless you're in a very niche area, don't spend your hard-earned marketing dollars there, because the ROI just won't come back to you, plain and simple.
Yeah. Another message to our team. I know there's a lot of people watching this live or may watch it later on in the Facebook group, the Business of Aesthetics Facebook group. So all the links you're sharing here, please make sure it's also shared on the Business of Aesthetics Facebook group. Ryan, if you can keep an eye on it or tell the team, that'll be great.
For sure.
That way, we're not just sharing it on Zoom, we're sharing it in both places.
Perfect.
So all the links we already shared, please share it. And of course, all the links we're going to be sharing going forward. So remember, I said, don't do it unless people go to your page and trust you as an expert. So if I'm Googling fillers, for example, as soon as I land on that page, I want to see tons of before and afters. Because if I don't see those before and afters, I don't believe that you are an expert. You have experience in that particular thing that I just Googled. So you want to make sure that the landing pages have tons of before and afters. So that's how you get people to trust you as an expert. Because nothing is more powerful than examples, cases. And so they have to be nicely labeled, good pictures, like explain what you did so people know what you did. So I'll pass this on to you, Ryan. Social media ads, and I'll move the slides for you.
Perfect. Excellent. Yeah. So we're going to talk about social media ads and how they kind of, again, differ from what we just talked about, where the similarities and differences are, but really understanding, again, same sort of thing. What are social media ads? Why are you going to use them? What's the strategy behind them, right? So we really want to dig deep into that. So with that in mind, first question is, what are social media ads, right? So first slide is, social media is a specific, advertising is specific advertising paid to target audiences through various social networks. So we're talking about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or the main kind of three, if you will. And as I mentioned, we're going to cover, why are they so expensive? Again, especially compared to Google SEO, but what makes a social media ad so expensive? And when would you use them? So exactly the same thing. Again, we want to talk about, when would you capitalize on the use of a social media ad? What are the benefits of them? So social media ads themselves, right? So they are about 10 times or more expensive than Google SEO. That is a lot of budget, right? So why is that the case? So when we talk about that, we want to consider, they are, when we look at costing, right, we're looking at about up to $4 per action on an Instagram ad. We're looking at about $5 per action on a Facebook ad, and it can continue to escalate beyond that. The reason is because, again, this is a supply and demand, and you're fighting for a space that's ever growing. There's more competitors in there, it gets watered down. You pay more to get more exposure, so it can ramp up quite quickly. The other big thing to remember is, we just talked about 15 seconds is what you have from a Google ad. When you're talking about social media, you have 5 seconds on your website on average. That means you have 5 seconds to go through and say, do you do what I'm looking for? Do I trust you? Do I like you? Compared to 90 seconds through a Google SEO click. So you've got to be really good at that elevator pitch and really capture attention, right? So it is extremely challenging to be able to not only get those clicks, but convert. And comparing it to Google SEO, Narain mentioned, when you have Google SEO, even with paid ads, there's intention and trust when people go to Google. But that is the big thing with SEO. People are going to Google and they're looking for a specific answer. When you're going through social media, this is using the algorithm to throw up, hey, I remember you looked at something like this before, check it out. That's kind of like the old school way of driving down the road and seeing a billboard for a plumber. Well, unless there's a leaky toilet in the back of your van for some reason, you're not going to stop and call the plumber on the spot. No one's pulling over and going, right, I forgot to call a plumber, right? you have to catch people as almost more of a branding exercise, or in that exact moment where they're like, hey, yeah, you're right, I did want to do that again, and capture their attention. Extremely challenging to be able to do, hence that 5 seconds they're going to spend on your website.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is on the intention, right? The intention of people when they are on Instagram is, they had a busy day, they are kind of vegging out, they're scrolling through those videos, right? And
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about this guy called Liver King. I don't know if you've heard of him, Ryan. He eats raw liver on
Oh yeah.
TikTok, and he has millions of views, right? It's like Dr. Pimple Popper, right? Of course, she pops pimples. That's, it's kind of disgusting sometimes, but hey, she has millions of views. So the way social media companies make money is they make money the more people spend time on social media. But the ads are not relevant. So if I'm watching a Liver King thing, I'm not getting a Liver King ad. I'm getting some other ad. Same thing. When I'm watching Kim Kardashian, maybe there's an ad for a Botox, or something like that. So I'm not interested. My mind is in just vegging out, or finding out what's that latest thing that some celebrity put out there, right? So because of that, they don't stay. As soon as they click, they get out, which is why they leave in 5 seconds. Which means you need a lot more people to make up this, like one SEO person. You need like 18 people to make up one SEO person, which means you have to now have a budget that's 18 times bigger because you need to target 18 times as many people.
Yeah, and the challenges they escalate, right? Are you on the right platform? Are you creating constant new engaging content? Are you consistent in your advertising and your content? Are you able to measure the ROI, as you mentioned before? With social media, you're opened up to negative feedback. We all know how that works, right? So if somebody sees an ad and they want to say something, they might put that on there, whereas that's not necessarily the case the same way with Google, right? So you've got to really, as Narain mentioned, manage your time, your resources, and keep up with just this constantly evolving landscape, right? But with that said, when is the good time to use social media ads? So that is perfect, again, when you've maximized your Google SEO and then maximize your Google ads, right? So when you're at that point where, hey, you know what, I've hit my max spend for a Google ad, my SEO is ranking incredibly high, and I want to reach potentially a bit of a new audience or a different way of seeing things, that is something that could happen. The other one is if you're a mini celebrity and you really want to continue to grow your audience further, right? So you're boosting your posts, you're trying to find that way to grow your follower base. And again, this may not necessarily lead to people coming through your door and booking appointments or coming for treatments, because you may be also buying an ad and targeting something and have somebody that's way outside your buying range or something like that. This is really to just grow that follower count and following from that perspective, right? So you want to make sure, again, there's a purpose for it. There's a reason where you want to do it. But when we're talking about that scale, this is the one that's by far the most challenging. It is quite expensive to do it as well. So
this is
that leads us to Google SEO, and this is I think this is still the king. This is so incredibly powerful and incredibly important from that perspective. So when you're talking about Google, we're talking about over 8 billion, almost 9 billion searches per day. And 95% of websites that are on Google that you have a link to, they get 0 free traffic. So that means 5% of all websites are getting 100% of the traffic. So when you think about that, you have to be top of the class, the straight A student that Google wants to see. You've got to have everything right to be able to be up there. But when you do it, you are going to be in that 5% that gets 100% of the free traffic. Again, $250 billion with a T is what Google makes off of selling ads. There is a reason they want to make it so difficult for you to get there. But the reason that we go to Google and we do a search and we click on those top links is because Google, we know, has already vetted those sites for us. We know that they perform well. We know that they're safe, that they're fully accessible. They follow the best practices. And that likely they have the questions answered that we're looking for, beyond even just, if we're looking for a specific service or a treatment, the next set of questions about whether it's, around, who are the ideal people for it? What are the after effects? What can I expect? Google's already vetted this and created this ranking for us to know we click at the top, we're probably going to get our question answered for us, and we're going to get, again, that someone we're looking for, that we like and that we trust. So if you're wondering why it is the most effective, here's a very simple, easy chart to follow. Again, the idea is that we want stickiness on our page. We want to be A, found, and B, once we're found, for people to choose us. So Google SEO, when you get that all important click, because you're at the top, you're already trusted. So people are going to spend on average 90 seconds on that page. You have 90 seconds to have them, to convince them of you'll have full attention from them to say, do you do what I'm looking for? Do I trust you? And do others trust you? Is there social proof of what you're doing? And do I like you? Do I want to come and see you? Right. And that's something that gets forgotten a lot, is the do I like you part. People put these Wikipedia style pages up of, oh, I'm such an expert. And then people bounce back. Right. So you get 90 seconds to be able to do that. And the people that are searching on Google, again, they have intention. They're asking a question. They're looking for an answer. And you have trust, because, again, Google, they know we have pre-vetted those people at the top, that they are the ones that are going to be safe sites, that have expertise, that lots of people go and see. They have the high review count, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many different reasons that you rank up there. So we go there with that full intention, ready to buy, fully trusting of that site. Google Ads, you have 1/6 of that time. You have 15 seconds, right? There's still intention. People are looking, but the trust isn't there because you've paid for that VIP spot and people know that. Social media, you have neither. As Narain said, you're actually interrupting their mind melt of a day, going, I'm just done, and I just want to sit here with my glass of wine and scroll everything that's happening and look at, either funny videos or people's kids or dogs or whatever. And all of a sudden, hey, don't forget to come and see me. People scroll past those. Most often the click time is click in and go, yeah, I didn't want this. And they click back out, right? That's those 5 seconds. That's why you've got such little time. So overall, with Google SEO, you have a captive audience of people who trust you, who are already specifically looking for your service. It is absolutely by far the most powerful way to be able to convert people to come into your practice.
All right.
No, and a wise man said, being among the top 5% SEO sites that get almost all the free Google traffic is like getting into Stanford. But given SEO is free, you have to work on this every day. And I know, Narain, you use this all of the time. It's like every day going back and writing your MCATs, writing your SATs, writing this every day, working to make sure you're constantly perfecting what you're doing, new relevant information, and getting to the top. So it's not like, hey, I've been accepted, I'm in the #1 spot, and now I can kick back and I'm good forever. I've bought this spot. We see it all the time. People come up and then they drop. You have to work to stay up there. But being up there, putting in that hard work, you are getting that free pass. You are right into that where 95 to 100% of that free traffic is coming, and it's all for you. So with that in mind, how do you dominate Google? There are 6 key areas that you want to always look at getting an A in. So again, we're looking, this is Ivy League scores that they want, and we want to be A+ in every one of these 6 categories on the report card. So they are NAP consistency, meaning your name, address, and phone number everywhere you appear online. So not just on your site, on Google, but on Facebook, on Yelp, on RealSelf, on all of these people, guys in their basements going top 10 places for Botox in my neighborhood who are selling advertising, and MapQuest and Yahoo, all these sites that maybe don't even exist anymore that are still, you're still out there. You got to make sure that you have name, address, phone number consistency. So every format has to be identical. Your Google Lighthouse score, I like to call this like the IRS for the internet that Google has. They run a live audit on every single page on your site. So not your site as a whole, not just your homepage, but every single page has a Lighthouse score for mobile and desktop that ranks performance, accessibility, your web app, best practices, so security standards, things like that, and your SEO table stakes. So again, do you have titles? Do your links work? Do you have meta tags? So that is the stuff that you just have to even start to get ranked. But all of those categories need to be a 90+ for you to, and you need straight A's in all of those. So really, that's actually 6 already, but there are 4 more big ones that you have to do here beyond that. Google Eat. So in this space, incredibly important, Your expertise, authority, and trustworthiness is on display. Are you an expert in what people are looking for? Do you have authority and credentials to do it? And do people trust you? Again, reviews, testimonials, having them out there for people to see. Original content. So don't copy content. Google does not want to see that you're really good at Control C, Control V and throwing it up on your website. They want to know you're an expert. The way to do that is to prove it and to put original content up. And while I know you're already thinking, hey, ChatGPT, they can write a page for me. ChatGPT just scrapes other web pages and does it. So it's still not really original content. And Google's getting really smart to that. So you got to make sure that that's you don't try that shortcut there. Quality backlinks. So again, white hat backlinks that are valuable, that go to valuable sites and have those in mind on every page. And then love letter monthly Google reviews. Plain and simple, you need 3 categories for your Google reviews: quantity, velocity, and quality. So are you getting them constantly? Are you getting a lot of them? And are you getting high quality reviews? So reviews where people are saying, I saw X provider for Y service, and that got me, this, and I'm so happy. You want to have it so they're singing your praises on there, but really, again, Google's going to index that and recognize, hey, this person is from this area who got this service, and there's trust and expertise in that area. Now we can rank that person higher because of that. And we already talked about this one, but it's so critically important, NAP consistency. So again, are you up to date on your business information on your website, Google My Business, online directories, across social media? You got to make sure everywhere you are, this is the same standard. So if you're, if you've got your name, and we could show an example here, of it, DSA Dermatology is one of our clients on the next page here that we're referring to, and we want to talk about them. So their name is DSA Dermatology, capital D, capital S, capital A, Dermatology. There's no like dash services or anything like that. Your address, 5072 W Plano, PKWA, number 150 for the address. Don't put Suite 150. Don't spell Parkway. Don't have West Plano, right? All of these things all add up to it. And then the same phone number overall. So, this is someone we've been working with for 9 years. And we have a dedicated team to identify and fix these NAP issues week after week, as you're going to continue to appear on more of these local aggregator sites. There's more profiles that are coming up. And the more and more that you appear on Google for more search terms, you need to make sure that all of this is correct. And then we talked about Google Lighthouse score. So just the quick review here. Again, 5 key categories, as we mentioned: the performance, accessibility, your best practices, SEO, and progressive web app. So performance, how well and how fast does your site operate? If it's a really slow site, Google knows that people don't have patience. If it takes 20 seconds for everything to load and for it to be clickable, they're going to back off your site. Google knows then we're not going to rank you high because we're going to end up with a big bounce back. Accessibility under the American Disabilities Act, right? You need to make sure, just like your building is accessible, so does your site have to be. For hard of hearing, are videos closed captioned? For people who are colorblind, do you have the right contrast ratio and the right size of fonts for people who are hard of seeing? Do you have, a screen reader? Is it enabled for screen reader for people who are blind? Things like that. Your best practices. So again, is it safe? Is it secure? Are you following the best practices for a site to make sure that all the data, all the information is safe on your site? SEO. So this is, again, your table stakes. Do you have headings? Do you have all of these things that are incredibly important from that perspective? If you don't have this, again, I get this a lot, but I'm a 98 on SEO. How come I'm ranking on page 12 for my Google rankings? These are literally just one category, and it's the table stakes that you have to have at 100. Otherwise, you're going to be another reason for Google to push you down. And then a progressive web app. So again, making sure that you're mobile enabled. Everything is with that in mind. In this space, 70% plus of the clicks are coming from mobile. It's all these people who are, again, it's I like to say Netflix and red wine time when you start looking into aesthetics and having your own time to care about some self-care for yourself. You're not doing it from your desktop computer at 2:00 in the afternoon at work very often. So you got to make sure that is something that is very important from that perspective. We talked about original content. So as we said, this is a big thing. So the Google standard for duplicate content, it's incredibly punishing. 5% of the words on a website. So if you've got 400 words, 20 can be a duplicate content. That is very little when you consider your address, or if you have an introduction to something, you're using the same introduction from page to page or something, a bio, anything like that. So you've got to make sure that you don't have duplicate content. And I see this a lot where people say, well, I just have from the manufacturer to use X laser to post their piece up there. Well, if you and everybody else does that, now you're failing that original content piece. So you need to be careful about that and make sure you're monitoring it. We have teams that monitor that, and also 15 dedicated US based writers spending thousands of hours each month, and they put in research and thought and into this creative content. So this is something that is designed for you, for your practice, for your patient base, to be able to supply that original content to your site. For somebody who's in Beverly Hills, it's different resonating content than somebody who's in Fargo, North Dakota, or somebody who's in Hilton Head, South Carolina, on the resort there. Like, there's very different ways to angle. So you want to make sure that content really speaks to your audience. So if you can master all of those, that is what's going to get you to dominate Google and get you those all important free clicks that we're talking about. So I'll now go through the organic social media portion. Away you go.
Thank you, Ryan. Ryan is an expert, as you can see. So he spends 6 hours reviewing, clients before we take them on as clients to see how well they're doing with Google. So he literally will go through these 6 things. Remember, Ryan said you have to ace all 6 of them to get into that top 5%. If you don't ace all 6, you're not in the top 5%. You're not going to get 95% of the free traffic, right? So he will study it. He will tell you, okay, are you getting an A for NAP? Are you getting a B for original content? Here is the reason why you're getting an A. Here is the reason why you're getting a C. And then he'll give you a roadmap. So, okay, regardless of where you are, whether it's a C or a D or an F, or even a B, like, how do you get to A within 12 months in all these 6 areas? And the challenging thing is it's a moving target. Like, NAP never stops, right? Just because you fixed an issue last week or last month doesn't mean the same issue or a different issue won't pop up today with that same site. Lighthouse Go, it's on every page. So Google algorithms are changing 10 times. Google algorithms for Lighthouse is changing once a week. So when it changes, you have to make sure that you update your page so that according to the new algorithm, you're still getting high scores. So all of these things are ongoing, but Ryan will give you a snapshot at a time where you stand, and then of course a plan. So within 12 months, you can get to the top 5%. So let's talk about organic social media. So we covered Google Ads, one of the options we wanted to talk about. We covered Google SEO, and now organic social media. Now, we also covered social media ads. So we covered 3. So this is the 4th one. So just to summarize, you can do organic social media. You can do Google Ads. You can do organic social media ads and Google Ads with the help of somebody else. In other words, somebody else can do it for you. But of the 3, SEO is the least cost effective and the most effective. It's 1/10 the cost. Next comes ads, which is 5 times the cost of SEO. Then comes social media ads, which is double the cost of Google Ads. Organic social media, just like SEO, is absolutely free. So you don't spend a dime on organic social media. So what is organic social media? Organic social media is any post that's shared for free without any money spent to increase reach or conversions. So any post shared for free without any money spent to increase reach or conversion. So for example, Pimple Popper, she posts a video, 100,000 people or 1 million people see it. That is organic social media. So what we're going to cover, who is it for? Why organic social media does not work for 99% of doctors and practice owners. It works, but it only works for 1%. So I'm going to tell you who that 1% is. And if you're in that 1%, kudos to you. Build on it, work on it. On the other hand, if you're in the 99%, I'll also give you strategies on what you should do with organic social media. Excuse me. So if you're in the 99%, I'm going to tell you what you can do as well. So who is organic social media for? It's for people who love the camera. It's for people who are willing to put themselves out there and become a mini celebrity. Of course, in aesthetics, we all know Dr. Pimple Popper, right? Like today, she has a TV show. She is a celebrity. She has a huge show, following on Instagram. She has a huge following on TikTok. So millions and millions. I think the last time I heard, it's like billions of times her videos have been seen. So she has a brand. So anywhere in the world, people know who she is. They like her, they trust her. Why? Because they've seen her videos multiple times. If you are like her, if you are in that 1% of people who love the camera, who are willing to put themselves out there, and the other thing is time commitment, right? So typically, like out of my 450 plus clients, 1%, that is less than 5, are like her. They have 100,000 plus followers, but every one of them love the camera, love putting themselves out there. They like being celebrities more than they like being, practitioners or healthcare providers. And also they spend the time. They spend 15 to 20 hours personally. They don't outsource this. This is one of those things you cannot outsource. You have to do it. If you want to do good organic social media where you're actually getting results, you have to do it. So put at least 15 to 20 hours. And if you are like this kind of a person, then of course do it. Why organic social media does not work for 99% of practice owners? Most practice owners are private. They love aesthetics, but they're not interested in being a celebrity. That's just what I find. I mean, I've been doing this for a long, long time. Like all of my clients, they have a private life that is private. Nobody knows what's happening in their private life. They keep it private. They keep it with their friends. They don't share it with the world. That's the biggest reason why 99% of my clients don't do this. The second reason is, they don't have the time to spend on it. So they don't really spend 15, 20 hours there mastering videos and how to get videos that 100,000 people will watch. So if you're not a celebrity and you don't create videos hundreds of thousands of people want to watch, Instagram and Facebook will hide your content. So no one will see you. Remember, with Google needs you, right? Like nobody goes to Google to see the ads, they go to Google to see the SEO. So they need the 5% of SEO websites, because without them, nobody will go to Google to search for things. But in the case of Facebook, Facebook doesn't need the average 99%. They need the 1%, like the pimple poppers. Because think about it, right? If somebody watches Dr. Pimple Popper's videos a million times, and let's say each video Instagram can show 2 ads, that's 2 million ads. That's, even if you say 10 cents an ad, that's $200,000. So with a single video, Pimple Popper made Mark Zuckerberg and his team $200,000. If I'm Mark Zuckerberg, I'm going to like her. I'm going to show her videos as much as possible because I make a lot of money by showing her video. If you're not her, then I don't make any money off of you. So I'm not going to show your content. Maybe 5 people will see it. Maybe 10 people will see it. And those 5 or 10 people are not even interested in what you're doing because they don't go to Instagram or Facebook or TikTok looking for, looking for skin tightening, for example. They're going there to veg out, take a break, watch some funny videos, whatever they're into, right? And the newsfeed just, AI keeps feeding them the things they like. So it doesn't really work for the 99%, this organic social media. In other words, you are not going to make any money. You're not going to get any new patients from organic social media. But a lot of people believe they do. The reason is it's anecdotal evidence. Perhaps the team feels like they love social media and they're on Instagram. So they want to tell the doctor, hey, I spend a lot of time on Instagram and it's actually good for you. So of course they say, oh, Instagram is great. We should do more Instagram. So that way they can be on Instagram. I'm not saying that's the only motivation, but they're familiar with it. They know it. So they say, yeah, we all need to do it. So a lot of doctors don't do it personally. They delegate it to their team. But I have looked at numbers because we do call tracking numbers. Like 99% of them don't make any money from social media. In other words, they don't get new patients from social media unless they are that 1% and they love content and they become the celebrity. The other problem with social media is at the middle of social media is that celebrity. So somebody has to be the celebrity. Let's say it's your employee. What if that employee walks? So that doesn't make any sense. So you need to be the celebrity, right? So that's the other challenge. And typically the ones who are good at it, like that 1% of my clients who are good at it, they're posting 3 to 7 times a week, personal videos, and they're spending, 10 to 15 hours a week. So if you're in the 99%, what do? Do you do organic social media? I get this question a lot. Make the algorithms happy, including the SEO algorithms. So in this case, if you're not expecting social media to drive new patients, you can outsource this. You can have somebody manage your page. You can have somebody post graphics to your page. They won't be personal because they were not created by you or your team, but they will have educational content. So we do that for our clients. Optimize your profile, get an engage with reviews. So when somebody writes a review, thank them, appreciate them, all that stuff. and let a third party company post on your behalf with your team, making occasional posts. Still, I would recommend posting at least once a month, something personal. Somebody had a birthday, you had an 80-year-old patient, everybody likes her, you guys take a group picture, post that. You got a review, somebody said, hey, thank you so much for this, amazing experience, etc. Take that review, convert it into a graphic, post that. So those kind of posts can be done by the team, that can be outsourced, and occasionally you can do one or two things on your own. The last section, traditional media ads. So let's get into that. So what are traditional media ads? Traditional marketing is any form of marketing that uses offline media, meaning anything that's not digital. What do we mean by traditional media? Television, radio, mailers, magazines, newspapers. The question I get is, should I use traditional media? And I'm going to answer that. Television, radio, mailers, magazines, newspapers. Why traditional media doesn't work? It used to work. Trust me, before Google, before the internet, pre-1998, it worked. That was the only game in town. It worked. Yellow Pages, of course, that's not even on my list right now, but Yellow Pages was the king. And then, of course, you had TV, radio, mailers, magazines, and newspapers. Now, most of them are dying, as you know, like many of them are going out of business. The only ones that are surviving are the big ones like New York Times that can charge a subscription fee for digital content. But everybody who relied on ad is like dead or almost dead. So traditional media targets everyone, right? So let's say if you buy an ad on New York Times, you cannot say, I'm only interested in people who are interested in Botox or who are interested in whatever. You have to target the entire reader base, readership of New York Times. So traditional media targets everyone as opposed to 3% who need your service. Again, the pre-Google, pre-internet marketing people figured out that at any given time, 3% of the population are interested in buying your product or service. Doesn't matter if it's a car or a dermatologist or a plastic surgeon or a, injection, skin tightening service, right? Only 3% are interested in your particular service at any given time. So with traditional media ads, you cannot target. So you're targeting everyone versus just the 3%. Second is, because we are overloaded by information, people have to see us again and again. With SEO, if you're dominating, then you're going to be showing up again and again and again for various keywords. So without realizing it, your brand, your business name gets planted in their subconscious mind. With traditional ads, unless you have $100,000 budget every month, you can't completely own the airwaves, on the traditional media. So people don't see you again and again. They may have seen one or two ads, but that's not enough to make an impression. So those are the two top reasons. And then before the internet versus now, also the changing consumer behavior. I think in the old days, because we didn't have something like internet or Google to go and find and ask whatever we wanted, we are okay with, opening up the mailers. We are okay with sitting and looking at commercials. Now everything is TiVo'd out. Like Netflix doesn't have any commercials. Like most things we watch have no commercials. So people today are like, I don't want to waste my time being interrupted with unnecessary ads that I'm not interested in. Instead, I'll go to Google when I need it. So people are totally ignoring it. Like, for example, I have a sign in my mailbox saying no unsolicited mail. So I never get a single piece of unsolicited mail in my mailbox. It's very clear. The mailman knows, don't put it here because the guy's going to throw it and he's going to be upset at me. So he doesn't put it there. It saves him some time. So, right, he doesn't have to put all that junk in our mailbox. So do these traditional media options work in 2023? Well, for the most part, they don't work. Mailers, local radio, local TV, local newspapers, they don't work. But in some cases, they do work. So I'm going to talk about when they work. So events for your VIP clients, that works. So for example, most of my dermatology practices, at least 2 times a year, sometimes 3 to 4 times a year, they would have a event. They would invite all their suppliers, all the injectors, so Allergan, etc. They will say, give us some deals. If anybody comes and buys today, they're going to get 25% off. Allergan rep will say, no problem, I'll support you on that deal. Similarly, they'll get other reps, other providers, other manufacturers, and they'll do this huge event. They'll invite their VIP clients, their best clients, and say, you are special, so you can come and buy the services today, but you don't have to use them today. You can use them over the next 30 days, 60 days, 120 days. And then they might do $100,000 worth of revenue on that single day. So that works. So how do you do that? You have to organize the event, get some wine, get some cheese, have a couple of people to kind of cater the people, and like, your team has to be there. Make sure that people can explore all the different services you have, perhaps even buy those services right at the moment. So you run an event, really high quality event for your best clients. You can also do events with partners, right? So let's say you have a plastic surgeon and he can talk about a particular topic, and you have patients who might be interested in that particular topic. You invite the plastic surgeon, he just gives the talk. Anyone who's interested in that topic can come and talk to the plastic surgeon, learn more about it. Could be, maybe you're working with some salons, high-end salons, and maybe a lot of their patients are older and they're looking for ideas on how to look young. So you might organize an event with their audience. And again, you provide the food, you provide the, refreshments and everything else. And you provide a small presentation so people come and listen. And so targeted events do work. Targeted magazines. Now, doesn't work a lot. Maybe I've seen, like, every year I might see one example at the most where it does work. So it's a magazine that's super targeted to a certain demographic and very loyal customers where they actually read it. Most people today don't read magazines. Even the ones who subscribe to them, they don't read it. I'm one of them, guilty as charged, just because, it's so easy for me to just read one article or read one thing as opposed to read the entire magazine, right? But in few cases, really does work. Finally, whether it's Google ads, social media ads, SEO or organic social media or traditional, put call tracking, any way to track your new patients. If you know how many calls are coming in and the cost of those new patient calls, then you can start comparing apples to apples. If you find out, you ran that magazine ad and you spent $20,000 and you got 5 patients, that means each patient cost you $4,000. You're never doing that again, right? Or you did that mailer and you spent 20 grand, you got 5 patients, you're never doing that again. So always track it so you know if it's working or not. So even if you do make a mistake, you don't repeat the mistake. So now you can start comparing apples to apples. Okay, what's the cost of a new patient through SEO versus Google ads versus social media ads versus call tracking? So this is a marketing strategy meeting that we would like to offer you. I know some of you already know Ryan. He's our expert. Here is an actual review from one of our clients. This is the best meeting I've ever had with a marketing company since I've been in practice. I'm so happy I switched to Equa, from some other company, and I look forward to a great working relationship with them. I highly recommend Equa to everyone. This is a review, and people love the meeting that they have with Ryan. So I would strongly, strongly recommend. Ryan, can you talk about what you do in the marketing strategy meeting? It's a $900 value. Can you talk about what you cover?
Absolutely, yeah. As you mentioned, I spend at least 6 hours and I go through basically every aspect of your digital online footprint, and I look at it from an outsider looking in. So I, VPN into your area, I search near me, I put everything together. From that perspective, I run through where you're ranking on Google for not just your market, but surrounding markets. And we have that discussion, do a competitor analysis to see what your differentiators are. And if you are taking advantage of that, looking at your social media, your Google Lighthouse scores, to give you a full report card from that, a NAP overview, your backlinks, your Google reviews, Facebook reviews, and how you're leveraging them, and put together a full roadmap strategy for what your plan should be moving forward. So if it's something where you're looking to, potentially find a new marketing company, that's fantastic. Then Equa a great fit for you. If it's something where you're just looking for some new ideas to see how you can change things, this is a great place to start. So there's no obligation. There's nothing to it other than get a good footprint and an understanding of where you are right now. You can't figure out how to move forward and improve something without knowing where you are today. And it's a lot of research and work to put that together. You're very busy. Practice owners do not have time to do a lot of this ground level stuff. So take advantage of the offer. I'd love to do it with you. I'd love to have that discussion and see if there's a path to work together moving forward, or at least for you to understand, where you are today and what the future could hold for you by making some changes.
Absolutely, and we believe in an all-inclusive price. So it's a fee of $1,400 a month. All inclusive. In the first 2 months, we put 200 hours. So instead of the 30 hours we usually invest, we are doing, 140 extra hours in first 2 months. Reason is Google is very picky on, making sure everything is done right from day one. So think of it like the foundation. A custom designed site original content, everything done to Google standards. So those extra hours, we see it as an investment. So you don't pay for those extra hours, rather we pay for them, because 95% of our clients never leave us. And then once the site goes live, we have 14 teams, 9 of them focused on SEO, 5 of them focused on making the phone ring, influencing people. So we have different products and services for that. So between all of these teams, we do it all. So from web design to social media to Google Ads, everything. But like I said, our clients don't use Google Ads. More than 7% of our clients don't use Google Ads, and only 3% of our clients use social media. So we do the whole thing. It's a flat fee, all inclusive. And because of that, because we are focused on making the phone ring more and more and more and dominating SEO, our clients don't leave. So that's the pricing. And the special offer is anyone who books a marketing strategy meeting with Ryan, they will save $250 in month 1 and $250 in month 2. So that's for the first 5 clients who sign up. So summary: the most cost-effective marketing is Google SEO. Step 1: dominate SEO. To get a report card and a plan, book MSM. Ryan already may have shared the link, so go through that. Ryan, also share the link on the Facebook group, if you don't mind, along with the video, or somebody can do that.
Okay.
Use Google Ads and social media ads as outlined sparingly. Like I said, only use it to top up. So SEO is first. And once you have great landing pages and great SEO, then use Google Ads and social media ads to top it up. Don't waste time and money on organic social media if you are like 99% of the doctors and practice owners who don't want to be celebrities. If you like being celebrity, then go do it. More power to you. Use traditional media sparingly. Events do work. Questions. We have some questions that you have sent in. I'm going to go through some of them. Why do people who find me through Google SEO are more likely to choose me versus those who find me via social media or Google Ads? Ryan, you want to take it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered this pretty well in the fact that, through Google SEO, you've got 90 seconds to answer the questions that people are looking for. Do you do what I'm looking for? Do I trust you? And do I like you? Do I want to come and see you? And through Google Ads, you have 15 seconds. Through social media, you only have 5 seconds through those social media ads. But mostly, beyond that time and attention, you've got the intent through Google SEO that social media lacks. It gives you that, again, that ability that we know that when we click on something at the top of Google, it's been vetted for us, they've done the research for us, and that they are pushing us to the sites that we know are trustworthy, we know have the information we're looking for, are safe sites to go to. And that gives you that, again, you've got intent and that sense of your barriers are down, right? The people who are looking to buy, their guards are down. So ranking at the top of Google, having that organic ranking is so incredibly key. You get more people this way for sure. And not only do you get more people with intent to purchase and they're looking to make a decision, you get more of their time and attention as well to make your case for why they should choose you.
I heard you say not to use Google Ads till after a practice dominates SEO. Can you explain? I have been doing this for 17 years, and I've helped practices, who used to spend, $50,000, $100,000 a year on Google Ads, cut their budget by 5 to 10 times. And one of the things they do is they're afraid of giving up those Google Ads, spend, because that's what they were used to. Even though it's a lot of money and it's taking up a lot of their profits, they don't want to give it up. So one of the things I recommend is let's start comparing apples to apples. So I show how many calls they're getting, new patient calls from Google Ads versus how many new patient calls they're getting from SEO. When they realize that, one might cost them $20, the other might cost them $200. I have yet to meet a practice owner who says, I want to spend $200. It doesn't happen. Like, they're just no way. Only exception is startups, or like I said, they have some free money. So like, let's say Cool Sculpting used to give free money to people and say, hey, I'll give you some money, but it's only for the next 2 months or next month. Spend it. So you can't spend it on SEO because SEO is the long game. So yeah, good place to put it in is Google Ads. So those are the only times my aesthetic practices actually use Google Ads. Of course, like I said, strategically, if it's still profitable, they might use it for a limited time. So let's say they are slow and they have this laser that's idling and they don't mind, putting $5,000 in ads because they can get $25,000 in revenue. So there might be some situations like that. In certain months, they also use it. So why do I believe that you should dominate SEO first? Because of that cost advantage, right? Before I go and buy the expensive, same product for 10 times the price, I better get all the products for 1/10 the price, the same product, right? Quality is actually better. The lower price product is better quality because of the trust factor. Why do 95% of aesthetic practices do not rank on Google and get almost no traffic from Google? You want to take this?
Yeah, I think again, this is the all important reason for that MSM meeting, because if you're in that group, I can tell you exactly why you are personally, but the reason is because they're not doing those 6 key elements from the technical side that are happening, and they're just not getting so that makes it so that they're not ranking. You're in a competitive marketplace. If you're the only one in a town of 4,000 or something, maybe you're dominating that area. I see that sometimes, but then you go 10 miles outside and now all of a sudden you're not seen again, right? So it's really dominating multiple markets, a large area, making sure you've got 6-figure plus population that you can draw from to make your practice sing and grow. But they're not getting it simply because they haven't paid attention to their NAP score. They haven't looked at their Google Lighthouse numbers on every page. They don't have backlinks. They're not high quality backlinks. We talked about all of the different areas. Poor performing site. They don't have the Google Eat content. It's a Wikipedia page of information, not expertise and trustworthiness that's being displayed. It's copied and pasted. It's not original content, right? So all of these factors continuously add up. And with Google changing their algorithm so often, maybe you ranked at one point and you don't anymore. And it's because, this isn't a website is basically a living, breathing thing. You constantly have to be working at it, to Narain's point of, it's getting into Stanford every day. It's not getting in once and going, there, I did it. I won Google, and, you get your Google gold medal and you stay at the top forever. You're there until somebody else outworks you and replaces you. So you need to continue to work, stay at the top of your game. Just like in your practice, you're sharpening your skill set to be able to provide better and better service and better results. The same thing with your website. You got to keep your tools sharp so that you are providing higher and higher rankings from Google.
Absolutely. I heard 95% of your clients stay for life. I'll answer it. I'm the founder. I'm the CEO of Equa Marketing. It's really because we focus on, helping our clients crush the competition, which means before the end of year 1, they're ranking for 100 or more keywords on page 1. Let me repeat. Our clients, all of them rank for 100 or more keywords on page 1 of Google before the first 12 months is done. So what do we mean by page 1? The top 10 results of Google. So you're ranking on positions 1 through 10, at least for 100 keywords. When we do that, almost always we find that they get at least 20 to 40 new patient calls. If it's a medical practice, more like 40 new patient calls. If it's an aesthetic practice, 20 new patient calls. Again, this is the minimum. I have seen clients get 60, 70 new patient calls. And then what happens is that result, that outcome keeps continuing to get better and better year after year. So we have clients who are doing 3 times better in year 3 at the end of year 3 than they did end of year 1. So clients don't leave us because it's like they're paying the same amount of money, but their results continues to get better every quarter, every year. That's why. And then the way we do it is we find out what Google cares about, those 6 things. We have army of people working on those 6 things on behalf of our clients. And then we focus on conversions, so landing pages, we help our doctors come up with good landing pages. Now we are even starting to listen to calls and provide insights on how the call is being handled. So if, let's say, your SEO is amazing, your landing page is amazing, but you're still not getting enough patients, we can pinpoint and say, are you missing calls? What percentage of your calls are actually converting into new patient appointments? So we do the whole spectrum. And we do the whole spectrum, and we have a large team of people to do it all for our clients. Like magic, our clients gets results. It's like somebody who thought it's going to die, and all of a sudden, he lives again. Like I had a friend of mine whose heart stopped beating for 30 minutes. And, today medicine is like magic. I don't know what they did, but they brought him back to life. His heart was not beating for 30 minutes. He's live, and he's a surgeon today, and he's walking around. This happened 3 years ago. Of course, the fact that he was a surgeon helped, because then everybody in the hospital knew who he was, and before they even wheeled him in, they were ready. They were like ready to go. But it's kind of like that magic. So part of my challenge is when a client comes in, kind of helping them understand it's a different game we are playing. So one of the things I do is I talk to my clients. So Ryan, I tell Ryan, if anybody signs up, I need to talk to them as soon as they sign up, because I want to make sure that they understand how we are going to play this game. It's a very precise game, and we have to play it precisely. If you're going to be in that 95% camp of clients who stay with us for life, we become friends. So that's the last question. Any other live questions? I see one here.
Yeah, there is one here. So I think this is great, kind of feeds into it, right? So SEO is long tail keyword based when we're talking about that Google SEO ranking.
Yeah.
How many keyword phrases do we go after for a monthly fee, right? And I think you're welcome to answer that one. Go for it.
Yeah, unlimited. Like
There you
we
go.
have clients who rank for 1,000 keywords and phrases, literally 1,000. We do not put a limit. Our minimum is 100 before the end of year one, but like a client, like I said, our clients never leave us. Like I have clients ranking for 800 keywords and phrases, 900. I have a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. He's ranking for like 2,000 keywords and phrases. He's seen 250,000 times on Google SEO alone every month, 250,000 times. If you were to do the same marketing with Google Ads, he would be spending at least $150,000 a month. $150,000 a month. That's how many people see him for those 2,000 keywords. He's crushing it. I mean, Beverly Hills is the toughest market on the planet. He owns it, especially for the things he cares about. And he started as a kid, directly out of, medical school. He was a pharmacist before, and then he became a plastic surgeon. And he said, I want to dominate. I want to go to the hardest market and I want to dominate it. He said, okay, let's go. And that was, I think 14, 15 years ago. So, and then the same thing in New York, we have clients in Manhattan, so yeah, there's no limit. Of course, you just can keep going and going and going. And you are 100% right. It's long tail. We can target different towns, different cities, different zip codes, different versions of the keyword, even different ways of asking the same question. So we can go after hundreds of them. And we know from Google Analytics which keywords are popular, how many people are typing in each keyword, and so forth. So that's kind of my short answer. Any other questions?
I think that was it. And then it says, do you limit working with a physician in a certain area was the other one that came in.
Yes, absolutely. If we have a client in that same area, we won't take a new client. Typically, we look at an area of 50,000 people as enough to sustain a aesthetic practice. So typically, we will not take somebody. Of course, if it's a big city like New York, we still put some limits, like Manhattan. So yeah, so absolutely, that is something we pay attention to. Any other question?
I think that was it for the questions that's come in now. So that's great.
Perfect. We finished only 7 minutes after the hour. So please book that meeting, especially the two people who ask questions. I think definitely you will get a lot of value, and even others who have been quiet and paying attention. So, oh yeah. So somebody says, Judith says they would like to speak to you tomorrow, Ryan. Is there any way you can book a meeting with her? Do you want to just follow up with her on chat?
Will do.
Yeah. So if you can share the link. So Ryan will share the link with you. So if you can go to that link and book a meeting. Or Ryan, do you want to share your phone number and they can call you and book a meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can call or text me at 204-898-0528. I'll put it in the chat as well. So you're welcome to give me a call or a text. And yeah, even if you want to speak as early as tomorrow, let me know. I just threw it in the chat there. It's the easiest way. I have my phone literally right beside me right now. So I've got 2 kids to put to bed in a little bit here, so text might be easiest if it's in about a half an hour's time, but otherwise I'm around all the time for sure. Just give me a shout. Happy to set up a time to talk.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye for now.
Thanks, Narain. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Business of Aesthetics podcast series, brought to you by our gold sponsors, MRP, Laser Uptech, and Equa Marketing, and silver sponsors, Lengia Law, Eilis Works, and Pronox. Would you like to join our growing group of aesthetic industry experts and get featured on the Business of Aesthetics podcast? Or do you know someone who would love to share their strategies for growth in the aesthetics business, providing quality patient care or their clinical expertise? Head on over to www.businessofaesthetics.org/podcast-show and apply to be featured as a guest on the show. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Music, or wherever you listen. If you would like to engage with today's or any of our past speakers, join our Facebook group or LinkedIn group by searching for Business of Aesthetics. Thank you and have a great day.